Subaru has pretty much made a name for themselves as an SUV and crossover manufacturer, but that's not always been the case. They were always off in left field with some zany, wild vehicle combinations and configurations, two of which were the Baja and the Brat, both of which developed a cult-like following. Rumors on the internet of recent make us think that there's a chance Subaru might resurrect one or both of these nameplates, and that's what we're going to talk about in today's video. With that said, let's go ahead and jump into it. So before we go into speculation on the future, let's take a little bit of a trip to the past. Now we'll talk about the Subaru Brat first because it has seniority. Now the Subaru Brat, as it's known here in the States, is an acronym for Bi-Drive Recreational All-Terrain Transport. Yes, that is a mouthful, so I understand why they shortened it up into the Brat name. And for you Australian viewers, this is the Subaru Brumby, of course. Now this was a small, compact, super rugged pickup truck, but not in the traditional sense of your Chevrolet Silverado, F-150 from Ford, or a Dodge Ram. This was a more or less an open back sedan or a coupe Subaru GL. They basically peeled the top off, put a truck bed in it, and had those iconic jump seats in the back that face backwards. Now, those of you that know your history about the pickup truck market in the 70s and 80s when the Brat was around will know why Subaru put those seats back there and called it an open back sedan rather than a pickup truck, but we'll not get into all that in today's video. So the Brat had a cult-like following through its tenure. It was a rugged, rough and ready four-wheel drive Subaru vehicle that had a bed where you could use it for truck things. Now it's not gonna tow your camper or tow your skid steer down the road, and it's not gonna have a capacity like a 1-ton dually, but for the average person that needed a truck, it sufficed very well and it gained a lot of popularity. Now, unfortunately, it met an untimely death in the mid-80s and is sadly missed, especially by me, because a Subaru Brat has been on my Subaru wish list for many, many years, and one of these days I'll finally find one that's rust-free and can justify the purchase, but unfortunately, that has not happened yet. So now let's shift over to the Subaru Baja. Now the Subaru Baja and Brat share a lot of similarities because the Baja was essentially an open back Outback. It was based on the 2000 to 2004 Subaru Outback. Basically had the same cabin to the second row, and instead of having that enclosed hatchback area, you had a truck bed. And again, we use that term very loosely because it was an open back SUV. It did not have a frame under it like a traditional pickup truck. It was basically an Outback unitized body with an open cargo area. And the funny thing about the Baja was, I think the Baja was less utilitarian and useful than the Brat, although it developed that cult-like following, and there were some spicy models like the turbo version that made it a lot more fun. But it was very short-lived and did not sell well for Subaru. It was pretty much a failed experiment. Now, not to say that it wasn't popular with a small group of people, because a lot of people love their Subarus and they love them very strongly, whether it was a flop model like an SVX, a Baja, a Brat, etc. They always have a group of people that latch on them and love them. Now, I've not owned a Baja either, but I see the cool factor in it. I just kind of get confused when people buy a Baja and then put a camper shell on it, whereas if you just bought an Outback, you would have had the same thing and your cargo would have been covered. So I really honestly don't see the necessity for a Baja. Myself, I've never bought one. I've had plenty of opportunities to buy a Baja. I just don't see the need or want for it like a Brat. Although the Brat's not really needed, it's one of those cool things, kind of like my Subaru Sandbar K truck. But again, we're getting all over the place. So Baja was basically an open back Outback from 2000 to 2004 body style Outback, and the Brat was basically an open back Subaru GL from the 70s into the mid 80s. Now, what does that mean for today and a resurrection of these nameplates? So Subaru and Toyota are joined at the hip, so to say. We all know this by now. Toyota owns 20% stake in Subaru. We see joint ventures and joint cooperation with Subaru and Toyota in the BRZ and GR86 and the Solterra and the BZ4X. There is a lot of badge engineering between the two brands. So recently Toyota has talked about resurrecting their Toyota Stout, which was a small compact pickup truck pre-Tacoma. And any of us that know about the badge engineering and the shared love between Subaru and Toyota have now speculated that, well, if they're going to bring out the Toyota Stout, and so many people have wanted a Baja or Brat resurrection, it's not that hard to imagine that Toyota would do some badge engineering and rebrand the Toyota Stout as a Subaru Baja or Brat. We could potentially see that because that market is slowly growing again for small, compact, car-like pickup trucks. Well, not pickup trucks, but open back SUVs. Case in point, the Ford Maverick that has sold phenomenally well and been a growing segment for Ford, and the Hyundai Santa Cruz. And to a lesser degree, we could group in the Honda Ridgeline, although the Honda Ridgeline is bigger and based off of the Honda Pilot, whereas the Maverick and the Hyundai are based off more of a midsize SUV. It's kind of in that same car, SUV, open back truck area. So again, we might see Subaru resurrect the Baja and the Brat namesake. Now we might have a Subaru Brat with a Baja edition, kind of like how Jeep does the Willys edition on the Wranglers, resurrecting that old nameplate. But we really don't know if it'll happen, but there is a good possibility with as many badge engineered cars and co-projects as Subaru and Toyota's had of late. So if we do end up getting the resurrection of the Baja and the Brat in the badge engineered Toyota Stout, what could we see under the hood and under the vehicle as far as driveline and powertrain? Now, more than likely, this is going to be a Toyota driveline in this Subaru model because they're not going to make two different vehicles. If we look at it from the standpoint of the GT86, GR86, BRZ, FRS, that was a Subaru Boxer engine in a rear-wheel drive, sporty little car. Subaru provided the engine and Toyota provided the drivetrain and the chassis and suspension, as far as I know. So this project, as much as I've heard about it, is going to be a Toyota hybrid powertrain, similar to how the Ford Maverick is a hybrid. So we'll likely see an inline-4 hybrid powertrain, similar to what's in the Prius or the Highlander hybrid or any of other Toyota hybrid drivetrains. That also means we won't see Subaru symmetrical all-wheel drive in this new vehicle. It will be a Toyota four-wheel drive system, similar to like the Highlander RAV4, all of those vehicles where it's a primarily front-wheel drive vehicle with a transfer case back to the rear wheels. It will not be Subaru symmetrical all-wheel drive. It will not be a Boxer engine. I can just about bank on that and bet you money right now that we won't see a Boxer all-wheel drive powered Baja or Brat if it's resurrected. It will be a Toyota with a Subaru badge, more or less, and maybe some more body cladding, a more aggressive grille, headlights, you know, styled like Subaru's current lineup. I don't think we're going to see anything that's going to blow our socks off as far as Subaru diehards. We won't see, you know, an FA20, FA24 powertrain. We won't see a turbocharged version. If anything, we might see a small bore inline-4 turbocharged hybrid setup. That's all Toyota. But I really doubt we'll see anything from Subaru other than the styling on the inside or out. And again, we might see the resurrection of both nameplates, with one being the base model and one being an upscale model on top of the base. But other than that, there's not going to be much Subaru in this project as far as I'm concerned or speculating. But I don't know. We don't know. It's all speculation and up in the air if it even gets off the ground. So what do you guys think? Will we see a shared chassis with two different drive lines in it? Or will we see a Subaru emblem slapped on a Toyota, similar to how the BRZ, GR86, and Solterra BZ4X have been in the past ventures between the two companies? Guys, let me know in the comments section below. Are you excited for a resurrection of the Baja and Brat? Is this what you want if it's what we get? Do you want a Toyota driveline badge swapped Subaru, or do you want to see a Boxer symmetrical all-wheel drive truck? I'm sure I know the answer to that already from the majority of you. Thank you guys so much for watching. Hope you enjoyed the video. Be sure to like and subscribe for more Subaru content. I'll see you guys in the next one.